This is Onetake. This is NBA Onetake. Featuring yours truly, NBA Onetake for your head, NBA Onetake for your brain. Special edition of NBA Onetake. Just doing this on an event that changed the NBA, as well as a lot of indoor sporting events forever. The MALICE and the Palace around the Detroit Pistons and the Indiana Pacers in the Palace of Auburn Hills outside Detroit area. And this event was just a regular season game, and the defending champs, the Detroit Pistons, was going up against their fierce rival in the Indiana Pacers, a team many felt that was going to actually contend on winning the title that season from the roster they had together, and just great coaching by Rick Carlisle, who was actually the Detroit Pistons coach before they hired Larry Brown. And Larry Brown was the coach of the Detroit Pistons, and they beat them in the conference finals in 6 games. Captain Jermaine O'Neal, he was playing on one leg. Ron Artest, true warrior, my brother, boy, Riverside, was up and coming when they had Agent Squander, still looking for that ring. And Jamal Tinsley, the abuser, was at point guard for that team in 2004. So the matchup was on ESPN 2004. So, and I was watching it, but they had Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, and the crew. And they was, making light work of them. It was just like the Pacers really didn't have it going. Detroit was really locked in on this game. It was a blowout. And what happened was Ben Wallace and Ron Artest, later changed his name to Metta World Peace, was really going back and forth. And Ben Wallace was in the game. Him and Artest got into it. It was a hard foul. And Ben Wallace, he pushed Ron Artest. And they held Ron because Ben Wallace wanted to smoke. He wanted to fight, and we knew that Ben was just tired of Ron's antics. He was just tired of it. He was just tired of it. And Ron Artest, if many don't know, he's a great defender. He be on you, great footwork, but his core is his upper body strength. If he put your elbow into you, he put his forearm into you, you ain't moving. You can ask LeBron James, and as well as one Michael Jordan, which ribs he broke in the pickup game. And Ben Wallace was just tired of his antics. So he pushed him, almost in the face, and they just told Ron, listen, go to the scores table. You know, as Ron, go to the scores table, he lay down. And the fans decided to take it upon himself to throw a cup of whatever substance, for the most part it was beer. Threw beer on them. Ron at that point got hot. Ran into the stands, and the boy that was jumping and said, ooh, 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 Ron immediately went for him, which was the guy next to him, and then all hell broke loose. And when all hell broke loose, Ron went in the stands, his teammates went after him. And you can see the clips of the Malice in the Palace. You see Steven Jackson in there swinging wild haymakers while they're trying to hold him back, in there fighting with his teammate. And Ben Wallace's family was in there with another guy who was on the Pacers, Fred Jones, trying to stop it. But Ben Wallace's family decided to put hands and feet on him and brutally beat up Fred Jones, also in there. So when other places are seeing that, they think, oh, it's the whole arena versus us. Almost that Detroit versus everybody. But that's what it seemed like. And as the security and a lot of Pacers officials trying to just get a hold of this, Ron he's hot. He is so hot right now. He's just, you will never know unless you're in a fight and you fighting against multiple people and everything like that. And this is just, it's in there, you crazy. Because, he bringing it back to Queensbridge. He know how it is in the hood, man. When you in there fighting, y'all fighting everybody, he gets back on the court. And as soon as he get on the court, a fan who wasn't courtside went up to him and almost flinched. So Ron punched him in his face, gave him a two-piece, and continued to fight. And Jermaine O'Neal came in, that same guy, and punched him dead in his face, and Jermaine O'Neal even hurt his leg doing it. And David Harrison, a rookie, he hit a guy with a chair like it was WWE. And Anthony Johnson, who was in street clothes, was in there pummeling the guy to what we didn't know what the hell was going on. Jamal Tinsley getting in it with another Detroit fan and was hitting somebody with a shoe. that wasn't even caught on film. I remember speaking to Jamal when we was at Kingdom. He told me about. He said, "Yo, it was a lot. There's a lot going on in there, man." He said the Pistons, they was just in the thing, just cleared everything. And they knew Ben was hot. I'm not saying Ben Wallace. I always say Ben Wallace started that whole thing. I'm not saying that he started. It just was just a crazy situation that happened. But Ben knew he was tired. He was upset with Ron, and he wanted to fight Ron. Because when Ron went in the stands, Ben went down there after him. Ben wanted to fight. Ben Wallace wanted to fight. And he called Ron all kinds of names and everything like that, and called the pay. Yeah, that was kind of a little heated. That was a heated rivalry because they actually went in there and everything, talking about, oh yeah, you talking about you wanted to fight, but your fans was in there fighting your battles. It was a big thing with that. But just me talking about it, I was sitting. I watched the game, but I turned because it was a blowout, and I was there with a girl I was seeing, and we was just sitting on the couch watching everything, and just turned to the news and said it was a massive brawl in Detroit. And when I turned to ESPN, I'm seeing everything, and I'm just in utter shock. Like I was just watching. We were just watching this game. And I didn't know what to even comprehend. What the hell am I seeing? What is this? This is insane. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't know. And I was texting one of Ron's cousins. It's a good friend of mine's, and they saying they don't know what's happening, they don't know what's going on right now. The family was crying, and the family was crying. His mother and these people was crying. His family was crying because they don't know what was going to happen. They don't know if they're going to make out of Detroit alive, because people know Detroit. It's a real reputable town when it comes to things like this. And even though it's outside of Detroit, you could possibly think that maybe something can happen where these players won't be leaving safely. Because if you're fighting fans, and the fans is just, they're abroad throwing all kinds of stuff at them. This is not professional wrestling where, JBL or, say some almost borderline racial remarks in Mexico, and they throwing everything out it, or Ric Flair winning the title, or for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat cheating, and they throw in everything in it. This ain't that. This is pure hatred, and the fans was not with it. These are working class people, and it was just an insane moment. And I didn't know what to say. One of my best friends, Mark, he's just like, yo, this is crazy, because he's a Pacers fan. He said, yo, this is crazy. They trying to kill us out here, man. We in there fighting everybody and even a few Pacers fans later on would say, yeah, man, that was crazy, and they lost their moment. Because Ron got suspended the rest of the season. Steven Jackson got suspended for, I think, 25 games. Jermaine O'Neal got suspended for 15. Other guys, there were so many suspensions and everything like that. And then they started trading away all the players. Reggie Miller was retired that season. No, well, not that season. He retired a few seasons later, but it was just insane. It was just a crazy moment. And they actually went in a different direction, meaning they went with quote unquote whiter players, drafting white players, and actually had an image concern where they draft and brought in high character players and didn't base it on talent and chemistry. And the Pacers was not good for a long time. Possibly it was almost 7 something years before they got Danny Granger and these guys. And they get Paul George and these guys there. But it was something. It was just a big event, and security. Now all stadiums have high security, got police officers, they got everything there because of this event. David Stern, he was really upset, and he did so many different things, and I won't go in this video what he was doing and what he was saying, but it was crazy. And I don't blame him, because, you lost a lot of sponsors left because they say, oh, this is what you guys want. This is what you have. This is it. And that was just a monumental moment in history, especially sports. And I just couldn't believe it. And this is my first video really talking about it. I mean, I did something 5 years ago about the 10th anniversary, but it was just shorter. I didn't really go into details, but this is the real thing, really talking about it. And that's all I really have to say about it. Look it up on YouTube, read about it. People wrote books and things like that, but it was insane. But God, was the 15th anniversary. This is NBA Onetake, Pretty Boy Laker, special edition, and I'm out.